Many of us have the gross misconception that the rich and famous folks in our society don't go through the same trials and tribulations that us ordinary folks have to endure. That somehow fame and status set you free of some of life's difficulties. But you know, behind every famous face, there's a deeper story just waiting there to be told. Today, I'm going to share with you the triumphant and tragic turning points of three very famous people. One, the infamous Mayflower madam, Sydney Biddle Barrows, a child abandoned by her father whose life changed forever the moment police arrested her for running a call girl ring. I'm also going to share with you a more intimate look at Evander Holyfield. You know, he just became the heavyweight boxing champion of the world for the third time, and we're going to take you someplace special. We're going to take you way down south. We're going to take you to Georgia. This 54,000 square foot home he has at a family compound. That's where we got to spend an entire day with Evander. We got to meet his new wife, and we got to meet his little children. If you ask his kids, he's a champion of another kind, a champion dad. But first, from a man in the ring to a man who can surely sing and surely talk about his life's turning points, the Godfather of Soul, Mr. James Brown. Yes! Yes! Yes!
Ow! I feel good.
Yes!
I would not. I feel good.
I feel good.
I knew that I would. So good.
So good.
So good.
So good.
I got you. I feel nice.
I feel nice.
The sugar and spice. I feel nice.
I feel nice.
The sugar and spice. So nice.
So nice.
So nice.
So nice.
I got you. Get down. Put a hold in my arms. I know I can't do no wrong. Get a hold in my arms. But love can't do me no harm. I feel nice.
I feel nice.
The sugar is spice. I feel nice.
I feel nice.
The sugar is spice. So nice.
So nice.
So nice.
So nice.
I got you. So nice.
So nice.
So nice.
So nice.
I got you. So nice.
So nice.
So good.
So good.
I got you.
James Brown! Yes! Yes! Woo! Yes! We'll be right back in a minute, folks. We'll be right back.
Hey, are you enjoying this episode of Rolonda? If so, please hit the subscribe button and let me know. Leave your comments and also follow me in other forms of social media at Rolonda Watts. Remember, that's ROLONDA, Rolonda Watts on all forms of social media. Now, let's get back to the show.
Really? I am sitting here, obviously, talking with the Godfather of Soul, James Brown. We're talking today about celebrity turning points. A little later in the show, we're going to talk with former Mayflower madam Sydney Biddle Barrows, and we're also going to visit the home of boxing new heavyweight champion of the world, Evander Holyfield. But right now, we are talking with James Brown, the Godfather of Soul.
Ow!
Ow! Did he make you feel good?
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. You know, it's so funny because I look at the audience and everybody's like quiet. They're
Maybe
like
I wanna
in
kiss
awe.
Kiss myself.
Oh! Yeah, it's so nice to have you. It is so nice to have you here.
Well, you know, I really, it's a funny thing about it. I sit home and I watch television, okay? Got to have something to do, and that's where it's at. So I turn on Rolonda show, you know? And I like the way you talk to people. I like your concern about people. And I must admit, you know, we can project what we want on the camera, but when I see you backstage, I saw the same thing. And I'm very glad that you're on television. Hope you stay on television.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Oh, God, thank you. That means so much to me from you. That means so much. Thank you. Thank you.
I'm glad that you're on television.
I am so blessed.
Because now you're bringing it right to the living room, you know?
That's
you
right.
Don't hide it, no airs or nothing. You're just a fox and you don't know it. I just thought I'd have some fun with you.
Yeah, I appreciate
You know, a strange thing happened to me in Winston. Winston, I found out about 30 years ago.
In Winston-Salem?
Yeah, that I had heart trouble. And I woke up, I was so tired, and I couldn't know what was happening. So they got a very old man, he was a doctor, and they took me to him, and he wasn't so tidy, you know. I said, I may go from here with this man. This cat gave me some digitalis, and you know what? From that time on, I was dancing across the stage, and that was, you're talking about 1960.
You mean you came to my hometown and got a whole new lease on life?
Well, if I'd have saw you, I got a better lease than that.
I feel good. Da, 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 da. So that was one turning point in your life.
Well, yeah, that was one turning point. I think the greatest turning point I've ever had in my life, though, was when I joined the St. Peter Baptist Church. And I had a chance to meet the Pope and Pope John Paul. And I was thinking about getting out of the business and going into the church. Believe me, I'm very religious, spiritual, and I stay with my beliefs, you know. But Pope John Paul said, you know, I'm going to ask you something I don't usually ask people. I said, what is that? He said, you need to not be in the church for us getting into it and taking that whole identity. So be where you're at, because you reach so many more people than we could ever think about. Mm-hmm. And I thought about that. And my duty is to humanity, because God blessed me with a 7th grade education to come where I've come. My father stopped in the 2nd grade, and my mother stopped in the 4th grade. And what I've been able to do with God's blessing and your love, you know, whatever it takes, I do. I speak to kids all the time now about making songs that they can take home to mother and not use this. I'm into that. I'm one of the people from, I guess I can't be a 50 liberal because I was never on the other side. You know, but I'm a 50, and I like the things that we had in the 50s, and I think we all here, because it's a beautiful flower, and I think that with God's blessings and our love and our trust for each other, we can do anything.
That's right.
Can I ask you one more thing?
Sure.
Everybody here today, would you look to the right and tell the person sitting next to you that I love you?
I love you. I love you. Yes.
But now look back to your left and tell that person that you don't have anything on me. I love you too.
I love you too. I love you too. I love you too. You know what is so interesting? I'm looking at so many people here in this audience of every different age group, every different ethnic group, all different folks, and all of them know who you are touched by you. You do reach a lot of folks.
Well, I tell you, they knew I was saying, please, please. I was so hungry. The roaches went next door. They couldn't eat with me. And I thank you very, very much for giving me that chance. And I just hope that your kids and your mothers and everybody will realize that I just thank you, and I thank God. I thank God, and I thank you.
Yes. We have so much more to talk about with you.
Yeah, I'm ready.
When we come back, the Godfather of Soul is going to perform for us once again. And also later in the show, I'm going to take you on a visit down to Georgia, to the home of boxing's new heavyweight champion of the world, Evander Holyfield, as we talk with celebrities about the major turning points in their lives. We'll be back. What's it like inside the real-life classroom of Dangerous Minds?
I could see that most of them were scared. Many of them were angry.
Reading, writing, and risking your life. Next, Rolonda. Okay, how do we do it?
I feel good.
I feel good. Like I knew I would. No. You know, we were talking during the commercial break. Welcome back, folks. Obviously, we're talking to James Brown here, the Godfather of Soul. We're talking to celebrities today about major turning points in their lives. But one of the things we were talking about is that little da-na-na-na-na-na. Wherever you go all over the world, you know that belongs to James Brown. You have more than 80 albums. Next to Elvis Presley, you've had more single pop hits than any other artist in history.
Yes.
You have influenced people like Prince, the Beatles, the Rolling Stones, across the board.
Yes.
And you say you can still see your influence a lot of places.
Well, I see it now in the churches as well. I see it in a lot of jazz, mostly jazz players, because what happened, jazz, we recorded Papa's Bag in 1965, and it moved the music to another place in the era on the music sheet. Mozart, Schubert, Beethoven, Bach, Strauss, Chopin, people like that, they put it on 2 and 4. We put Papa's Bag on 1 and 3. That included all of us, whether you went to conservatory or not. If you come out the ghetto or wherever you come from, you come off the farm, or if you're a cowboy, whatever you are, you can get into that. And everybody got those licks. That's for the people.
Let's talk about some other turning points in your life.
Okay.
The infamous high-speed car chase in that truck.
Well, that's because, you know, my truck, I was trying it out.
No. Now, let's talk about
Well, that was a very, I thank God for the day, because anything could have happened. I went by my office, somebody had broken into my office, and I had a gospel office as well as R&B office. So when they broke in the office, I did the one thing that I'll tell anybody not to do, you know, at any time. Even, I mean, you have to be ready sometime, but I hate to even bring this up, but I had to get a weapon, right? I got a weapon, I went into place, and I got the weapon, and went into place. Nothing was happening, but the place was still broken, and the locks were hanging part off, you know, and the shingles, everything.
So you started.
So I went down. No, I went down another part of the complex where I saw a lot of people stand together. You know, a lot of people gathered there. They were having a meeting, an insurance company, and I said, "Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sorry to disturb what you're about. Somebody broke in my office, and I want to know is anybody familiar with it." So a lady spoke up. She said, "No, nobody broke in. We just took the keys and went in." I said, "What?" I said, "You mean all these offices out there? And you decided to use mine, little office, you know?"
And then you started waving that gun around.
No, I didn't.
You didn't?
No, I didn't. That's the funny thing about it. See, I didn't do anything.
Well, how did you end up in that truck and all those...
I went up in that truck because on my way out, I heard the man. So I said, you know what? I might outrun him. I don't know what I'll do.
So you're speeding all down the highway. They're chasing you, all these cars.
But what the real problem was, okay, when I got back, I'm in Georgia now, right? So then I go back to South Carolina.
You crossed the state line.
On I-20. So I think I'm cool, you know. So I got away, you know. I got up on the main back street, and I was going into downtown North Augusta, which is South Carolina. And these fellows standing in the middle of the road, peeping on with the guns out. I said, "What is this?" You know, I couldn't believe it. So they thought I was gonna stop, and I said, "No reason to stop. No stop." So I had to test my driving skills. So I just drove right around the fellows. So y'all can follow me. And I got way down the road. I thought I was gonna see Judge Bradley over there, but I didn't see him. I saw this henchman.
They ended up putting 23 gunshot holes in your truck.
And I'm sitting in it. I couldn't get out.
You must have been scared to death.
I tried to get out of the truck and the cat wouldn't let me out. But you know what I did then?
What?
I said, "Well, you won't let me out, then I'll leave you." Crank up, bang. And it shot off one of the tires, right? And I did this on 3 wheels. Look out on Schwarzenegger. You ain't got nothing on me.
You spent the 2 years in jail. What was the major turning point that jail time did for you?
When I got in prison, they made me a cook. I couldn't boil water when I got in prison. I'd burn water, you know? And I got in prison and made a cook out of me. But one of the things that really interests me, and because I'm fighting for humanity all the time, because don't be for you or some of your people, somebody you know, I wouldn't have been here today, you know? So I took up this thing of getting the people. I said, it looked like they should be able to go to school for half a day and work half a day. Because I figure if you take a person out of the street and put them in the system, in the prison system, they can't deal with it when you take them out. So now you go take them out and keep them out 4 or 5 years to go back. If they haven't gone to school, you really got a problem with this person getting back on the street. So I said, it just makes sense they don't have a chance going back. And I saw myself, luckily I had a chance to sing. But a 7th grade education, I would be dead twice, you know? So I worry about those people, and I started that, and I started my singing thing with my groups and everything.
So the one thing that came out of that jail time and all that trouble
Is I learned
you were
how to
in,
cook.
you learned how to cook.
That's right.
That,
That was
oh
important.
boy, you mentioned your wife, and I give my condolences to you for having lost your wife. How have you dealt with that?
Well, it's something that, it's nothing ever been like that. I lost my father, and losing a spouse, regardless of your husband or your wives are, that's one thing it's hard to deal with. I lost a spouse. We never had that person there. And you think about it all the time, but you luckily I have people around me that keep me laughing, keep things going. But it was really a hard situation. And it's still hard, you know, you don't forget. I took the pictures down, some of them I put back up, and some of them I had to turn around, I couldn't stand to see them, you know. It's, then we went through 2 memorial services, which was rough, you know, in California. Then come to Augusta, which was the largest funeral they've ever had.
Where do you get your strength to keep going?
God. You know, in the world you can deal with that. But you know, and this is, I used to do the Mike Douglas show years ago. Some people here might have seen that show. I know you're not old as I am, but see, it was a great show. And we had a lot of things on there, but this is the first show that inspired me and motivated me to want to come out and try to talk to the people. And
The
I thank
Rolonda
God
show?
and I thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Will you sing a song for us?
I'd love to sing a song.
Come on
for
and
you.
sing a song with. And ladies and gentlemen, this wonderful group of women are the Bittersweets with James Brown. Come on over here and sing with us. And can
We're gonna do a song that kind of relates Georgia Liner. Listen to the story. I seen days that the sun didn't shine. Raised in Georgia, born in Carolina. Carolina fields and Georgia peach. People were hungry, had nothing to eat. I'm a Georgia liner. Raised in Georgia, born in Carolina, Georgia liner, people. Georgia liner. So my heart's in 2 places at the same time. Georgia, Carolina. Mm-hmm. Ooh. I found love. I found hate. I got up early, stayed out late, but real hard. I paid my dues, look at this. But sometime you win, sometime you lose. Georgia liner, people. I tasted the soil on both sides of the line. Georgia liner, people. Georgia liner. So my heart's in 2 places at the same time. Georgia, Carolina. Mm-hmm. Now have this dance with me.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Oh, I love you. James Brown, everybody.
Greatest in the business.
Coming up, an interview with the new heavyweight champion of the world, Evander Holyfield. Can you imagine him carrying you over this threshold? We'll talk to his new wife and kids, too. And what were the key turning points in the life of the infamous Mayflower Madam? We'll find out next.
My father looked at me and said, "You're a pretty girl. Some rich man will marry. Why should I spend the money to send you to college?"
Hey, are you enjoying this episode of Rolonda? If so, please hit the subscribe button and let me know. Leave your comments and also follow me in other forms of social media at Rolonda Watts. Remember, that's ROLONDA, Rolonda Watts on all forms of social media. And if you're interested in voice acting, my goodness, let me help you. This is a new year coming. It could be a new you, a new career. Check out my voice acting masterclass at Rolonda.com, ROLONDA.com, and I'll tell you all about it. Let's get back to the show.
Now, if you're going to be in the New York area and would like free tickets to Rolonda, well, please call us at 212-650-2060. Nobody walks through life without some type of pain or hardship along the way. Today's show, Celebrity Turning Points, and we've been talking about that with some celebrities. We're going to hear from Evander Holyfield in just a moment, but right now, I want you to meet the former Mayflower Madam, Sydney Biddle Barrows. She's the former high-priced madam who is author of the best-selling book, The Mayflower Madam, and recently published Just Between Us Girls. Welcome, Sydney. Welcome to the show. Oh, when I say turning points, tragedy and triumph that life brings us, what were your top 3 turning points, you think?
Top 3. I guess the first one probably was when I was planning on going to college. And about 3 weeks before I thought I was leaving, my father looked at me and said, "You're a pretty girl. Some rich man will marry. Why should I spend the money to send you to college?"
What?
So I think that was one turning point. And I guess the second was because, you know, I didn't have a 4-year college degree. I was having a hard time at one point. I had a series of jobs, and then I lost one because I refused to participate in a kickback scheme. And then I wasn't able to get another one because, you know, for every job there are how many applicants, and they can only, you know, have time to interview maybe 10 of them. So they have to find as many excuses as possible to drop everybody else's into the round file. And when they saw that I only had a 2-year degree, there went mine. So I guess the second turning point was going into the escort service business.
Now, how in the world did you decide to do that? Did you sit? I'm trying to think of the moment in your life when you said, "This is what I'm going to do." You were 32 years old.
No, that was at the end. I was 27 actually when I went into it.
When you started it.
Yeah.
And you had started this business. You were a hooker booker. Is that what they say it is?
What happened was I was... I never heard that term before.
But that's what it was, right? You ran this business out of your apartment.
Yeah, what happened was I got fired from this job because I refused to participate in a kickback scheme.
Right.
So there I am on the unemployment line, and I met up with this girl, and to make a very long story short, she was answering the phones for an escort service to supplement her unemployment income. And I ended up working there too. And I was trying to get a real job, but it just wasn't working out. So then finally, you know, I had to leave the job that I was, the escort service job I was answering the phones for, because the guy just was not nice to the women and I couldn't handle it. And all of a sudden I heard myself saying to this friend of mine, you know, we're just as nice as he is. Or maybe we're nicer than he is, and we're definitely smarter than he is. Why don't we start our own escort service? So that was probably the second one, and the third one was when we got busted.
Oh. Before you got busted, though, because I can imagine that was a major turning point. Gosh, what was that escort service like? I mean, how did you find the girls? And what kind of girls did you...
in the help wanted section of the newspaper.
Now, you yourself didn't go out on calls, though. That didn't do that. Yeah. Would you ever think about doing it again? If you saw yourself like in a situation that you needed money and you needed
No.
a job. You would never do it.
I never understood people who got caught up in the criminal justice system and then got caught up in it a second time. There is no way. I mean, the most illegal thing I think I've done since then is maybe to speed, maybe to jaywalk across the street, but there is nothing that could ever induce me again to do anything that would break the law. I never want to go through that again.
You really got off lightly, though, because it was a misdemeanor and a fine.
Yeah, I was very lucky, and it could have been very different.
Why was it such a light punishment, you think?
Because the district attorney simply was not willing to ask men to testify at the trial. And we had a wonderful woman judge who said, there's no way I'm going to only, let you drag all those poor women in here and expose them and ruin their lives without dragging some of the men in here too. And the district attorney said, oh no, I can't do that. I mean, I can ruin these women's lives, but I couldn't ruin all these men's lives, especially these lawyers and other powerful businessmen. I mean, it would totally trash their lives. And so they decided the only way to get rid of the case was to give me a plea bargain, and that's what they did.
When you were a little girl, 4 years old, your father left your family.
Yes.
How did that affect you?
Well, I think the way that it would affect almost anybody. First of all, most children blame themselves. And then, of course, when your parent doesn't make much of an effort to stay in touch with you or anything, you think, well, my goodness, your father or your mother, they're supposed to love you no matter who you are or what you do. And, how do you explain to a 7-year-old that her own father doesn't call for Christmas or her birthday? You think there's something wrong and unlovable about you. And it took many years on the couch to get over that.
You had a self-esteem issue.
Oh, sure. I think a lot of children divorced.
Just a few weeks ago, Evander Holyfield experienced a major turning point. He came out of retirement and became boxing's heavyweight champion of the world for the 3rd time in his life, taking the crown from longtime rival Mike Tyson. An intimate talk with Evander Holyfield coming up next. Just a couple of weeks ago, many folks were really surprised by the outcome of the heavyweight championship boxing match between Mike Tyson and Evander Holyfield. That fight was one of many turning points in Evander's life. What would you say were the top 3 turning points in your life?
Well, I guess, my belief in Christ and I guess marriage and the point of having kids.
It was a turning point for you to come out of retirement and go back into boxing. Was there something that triggered that move?
Well, yes. The first time I retired because I was hurt. I was embarrassed when Red Bull beat me the first time, and the turning point is that I knew that at some point in time I was going to have to talk to my son, because I realized that in his life he's going to have some things where he failed at, but the point is that when you fall short, you have to get back up.
And once again, heavyweight champion of the world from Atlanta, Georgia, Evander Holyfield.
What has family done to you? When I say family, I look at that. The smile comes on your face. There's a warmth in your glow.
Well, family is all that I have. One thing I can say, we wasn't brought up with a lot of money, but one thing I can say at home with my mother, my sisters, and my brother, and I feel that the man that I am is because of my older sisters and my brothers.
And your beeper. Who's beeping you, Evander?
Well, just see, Jay Larkin for Showtime.
For Showtime. Well, you tell him to wait. You're talking to Rolonda.
I just turned it off.
Let me ask you this. A lot of people said the fight with Mike Tyson, what is symbolized for a lot of people that I have spoken with, is almost in a strange kind of way, good versus evil. Beyond the fight, it was, here is Evander, a family man who respects women, who is raising his family, he's coming out of the ring, he believes in the Lord. And Mike, who has had some problems, particularly when it comes to respecting women, a convicted rapist. Did you have to deal with some of that?
A lot of people did say that, but I was trying to get them to see that, is it right when a person was raised different? Meaning that I was blessed to have a mother, and sisters and brothers, and I was blessed to be around a lot of people who instilled a lot of love.
What was your mother like?
Well, my mother was strong, and I think that it made me as a man strong. Ever since I had a job, I always supported my mother the best way I could. I bought my mother a house, and people say, well, you bought your mother a house and bought yourself a condo. And they asked me why. I said, because if I had to ever move, I know I can move in with my mother. I mean, a lot of people may leave you, but your mother gonna be there. My mother loved me regardless if I would have the champ or if I would have been a chump.
In a stunning upset, the new WBA heavyweight champion of the world, Evander.
Were you raised under a lot of strict discipline? Or were you ever bullied as a kid? Did anybody mess with you as a kid?
Well, nobody never messed with me outside the house, but I had to do everything that my sister would tell me to do. And then once I got into boxing was something that I was always scared of. And I used to always pray, Lord, wound me up in this ring. And it took me till I was 17 years old to get over the fear of boxing.
You were afraid of boxing?
Yes.
So is this whole career to overcome one of your biggest fears?
Well, I overcame the fear at the age of 17, but I think the most important thing is that the Lord allowed me to do this, to have a testimony, to be able to speak to people about overcoming fear, because fear is the only thing that prohibits you from being the very best in your life.
Our whole show is about turning points in life, and you've had a lot of turning points. You just got married. What made you make the decision to pop the question?
Well, I've been wanting to get married ever since I got a divorce, and I realized that, I wasn't a guy to be single. I needed a woman in my life to balance.
Are you somebody who gets big diamond rings for people and baubles and
Yes.
cars and houses and yes?
I'm one of them type of people that anything our heart desires, she would get it before she died. That's just the way I am. Anything that she ever dreamed about, even think about for its gifts, I would give it to her.
What do you expect from your soulmate?
All I expect for her to just love me and just respect and honor me, and that's it. The whole thing is that's all I ask for a woman.
Do you have any idea how good looking you are?
No.
I'm serious. You're not just a pretty face, Evander.
Well, no, it's more than me than face, body, and talent. And, the big part is the Word of God.
During my conversation with Evander Holyfield, I asked him if he thought his victory might be a turning point for Mike Tyson as well. Here's what he had to say.
Well, I hope that it is, because, when I look at Mike Tyson, he's not a person that cannot be changed. But, he have to be willing himself.
Do you ever spend time with him, like one-on-one?
I haven't in a long time.
If you were to spend an afternoon with him, like brother to brother, like he's your little brother, what would you talk to him about?
Well, I would talk to him about love. Being with people for the right reason. But the point is for a person to find themselves, to know who they are. See, once you know who you are, then you don't have to have certain type of friends, certain people, because you know that you're the man of your life, and you have to live by the decision that you make, which is good and bad. You never know that you made a wrong decision till you get down the road, but it's better to be moving in a direction than to be still.
Evander Holyfield is quite a dad. Try to imagine if your dad was Evander Holyfield and you were about to get a spanking. I think I'd be walking the straight and narrow, but Evander's kids still occasionally cross that line, as kids will do. The question is, how does Evander Holyfield handle that?
People ask me, do I hit them hard? And I tell them I hit them with all my might. And they say, why? I said, well, I won't have to do it again. And, as hard as I hit my kids on their behind with that belt, I don't have to do it on a daily basis.
Where did they think up Seinfeld's Kramer?
They said you can't be Kramer. I said I am Kramer.
Meet the people behind Hollywood's biggest hits, Tuesday on Rolonda. Celebrity turning points, that's what we're talking about today. We spent some time with Evander Holyfield and talked about some of the trying, tough times in his life. But there are also many great joys as well. Evander invited me to visit him and his family at his lovely home, his compound, you might say, down in Atlanta. Evander Holyfield is just completing construction of his new 54,000 square foot home. It sits on 180 acres of rolling hills outside of Atlanta, Georgia. Inside his dream house, he has built a movie theater, bowling alley, racquetball court, 13 bedrooms, and elevators to get you from the first to third floor. On top of all of that, Evander has the largest pool I know that I have ever seen, and he claims his new home is the third largest in the United States. But aside from all of these luxuries, Evander's life is not just about spending his newfound fortune. He takes great pride in his 6 children, his brand new wife, Janice, and his faith in God.
6. Oh, Ebony.
Who usually wins the game? That's what I want to know. Daddy always wins? Daddy, you're not supposed to win.
I win sometimes.
You win.
I have 6 kids. Evander Jr. is 12, Yvette is 11, Ebony is 8, Ewan is 6, then Imani is 3, and Eden is 15 months.
Wait a minute. Do all of your children's names begin with an E?
Yes.
Why did you decide to do that?
Well, I'm Evander.
Well, there you go. I understand you had a very casual wedding.
Yes.
Evander wore jeans.
But he looked good in them.
But he looked good in them. We know he looked good in his jeans. How do you deal with the different mothers and all the children? Is that a sticky situation?
Well, in some ways, my first wife, I have 3 kids by her, and I guess after all the mother, I have custody of them kids, and she let me do what I want to do. And with the other mothers and stuff, they kind of have a problem, in the way I discipline them and how I handle things.
I gotta ask you, do you spank your kids?
Yes.
You do?
I don't spare the rod, not at all.
Wait a minute, I can't imagine being a kid getting a spanking from Evander Holyfield.
Well, they can. Because you
don't think that's, now I know this may sound ridiculous, but you don't think that's too violent?
Well, no, not at all, because I realize that the reason why my kids do what I ask them to do, because they don't want to spank it. And it's not fear, it's that reverence. And people ask me, do I hit them hard? And I tell them I hit them with all my might. And they say, why? I said, well, I won't have to do it again. And sometimes, I have took a plane from training camp from Houston just to fly home just to spank him.
You were in training in Houston.
Yes.
This is going on in Atlanta. And what did you do?
I would get on the airplane and just go home just to whip him.
He must have been scared to death to see you come home.
Well, he wasn't scared, he was surprised. I don't believe in putting that type of fear in him. But I asked him, did you think I was gonna come home? He said, no, you don't supposed to be here yet. Like that. But I had to let him know that it's important for him to do the things that the teacher asked him to do, because as the kids can't follow direction, they'll never be a leader.
Do you remember that time and Daddy showed up, you didn't know he was coming?
Mm-hmm.
Tell me what went through your mind when you looked up and saw your daddy?
Because every time I see him, I'll be scared of him. I'm like, what?
What's Evander like as a husband?
Well, actually, he's funny. and I think that's one of the most surprising things is he's very, 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 very funny.
Are you really that funny?
I don't think so.
Is he that funny?
Yeah, he's that funny.
What does he do that's funny?
Makes a really good jokes.
He does. Ewan, is your daddy funny? Tell me the truth.
Yes,
Yes.
He's crazy.
Can he cook?
Yeah.
Your dad can cook?
Make some cake. Make some cake, Daddy. Chocolate cake. His chicken tastes like churches. I know.
It's important for children to be children. They have their playground, they ride horses, they have their motorbikes, and have the ponds, and have the lake, and have the swimming pools. I give them the best, so when they grow up, they know that the most important thing is for them to go out and strive to be the very best they could be. I don't want them choosing a career for me. And I asked in the point of choosing a career, you have to choose something that you love doing, because that's when you'll be the very best. Because I'm only the best in boxing because I love what I'm doing.
And if you're interested in being a voice actor, why don't you sign up for my free webinars and find out all about it? Just go to Rolonda.com, ROLONDA.com, and push the button to sign up for my free webinar. So come on, let's get you prepared for maybe a brand new career in this brand new year. Check it out, Rolonda.com. Now, let's get back to the show.
You know, the reality is that in life, we're all going to go through some types of trials and tribulations and also some major triumphs. We all have our own turning points, and I really appreciate all the celebrities, including you, Cindy, who have shared your stories with us. Let me ask you this before we say goodbye. When you have adversity right there staring you in the face, how do you deal with it?
Well, I think the most important thing to realize is that just because something negative happened to you doesn't mean you're a bad person. For instance, I was in a business that failed, or whatever, but that doesn't mean I'm a failure. Mm-hmm. You see, and I think that if something that you're doing doesn't work out, it doesn't mean that you're a failure, you're a bad person. It just means something you did didn't work out. Mm-hmm. And you've got to really think of it that way, otherwise you'll really get yourself down.
As I've heard sometimes, congratulations, you've just been fired, that there's another opportunity to start again. Even when he was an underdog, Evander Holyfield did not let the naysayers get him down.
I became heavyweight champion of the world 3 times, so to hear that, well, you can't do it, it just only motivated me, because ain't nothing I can't do. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Mm-hmm. And I know that, and I know that's a promise, that God would never allow more than you can handle.
Like the movie, there's more to teaching these days than reading and writing. There's also risking your life.
I got hit from behind, which snapped my lower spine.
How did this teacher get his students singing his praise?
Well, I saw a bunch of kids who wanted to be led.
Can he lead this boy down the right path? And go inside the real-life classroom of dangerous minds?
I could see that most of them were scared. Many of them were angry.
Next, Rolonda.
We gotta take.
Show me how to do that. Hey, I'm busy here getting a dance lesson from James Brown, but we want to end this show with you feeling good. So here he is, and we'll see you next time on Rolonda.
I feel good.
Yes.
I would not. I feel good.
I feel good.
I knew that I would. So good. So good. So good. So good. I got you. I feel nice.
I feel nice.
The sugar and spice. I feel nice.
I feel nice.
The sugar and spice. So nice.
So nice.
So nice.
So nice.
I got you. Get down here. Put a hole in my arms. I know I can't do no wrong. Get a hole in my arms. But love can't do me no harm. I feel nice.
I feel nice.
The sugar and spice. I feel nice.
I feel nice.
The sugar and spice.